when they didn't tell me that, but you're right, it wasn't on. So there we go. Now we're on. At my office, it automatically does it. We have it all hooked up that I don't ever have to push anything. They just record everything that I do. So great. I like that Julie is a bunny. That's different. I don't normally get a lot of bunnies attending my training. So that's
You
awesome.
know, first time on, you got to play with the buttons, right?
I know, I know. When I have one of our office meetings, it's always Google Meet, and I'm in a spaceship. Every
There you
time I'm
go.
in a spaceship or a diner, and so they're trying to have a serious meeting, and I'm like playing with all the background. So
Right.
anyway, yeah, you got to do it. All right, guys, let me get into my slides here. Actually, before I go into the slides, does everyone have a participation guide or know how to access it on command? If you don't, shout out and I can share that real quick. Does anybody not know how to find it?
No, I have no idea. So if you could show me, that would be amazing.
Okay, let me show you that real quick. I know sometimes when people, I'm sure they showed it in the first one or two, but if people missed it, then they're lost. So let me get out of that. All right, so when you go into command and you go into your command, you are going to go into Connect. Connect is your learning center. So once you go in there, you can see that it says learning. And I like to show the homepage. Let me just show you this because this is going to come up. So while I'm already in here, on the homepage, if you kind of go down midway through, everybody's seeing this, right? I'm sharing it, right? Okay, cool. I love it when people don't tell me and I'm like 10 minutes in and they're like, we haven't been able to see anything. And I'm like, really? Okay, anyway. All right, so right here are playbooks. And these are great because this is going to tell you a lot about whatever that you might be interested in. The ones that are the most popular are going to be open houses. So this is the one that I definitely suggest for using when you're planning your first open house or your first couple until you're going to feel comfortable. I will also reference some open house prep sheets that are in your Ignite participation guide, but this is fairly new. You can see they just put all these out last fall. So this playbooks are great. You can also see seminars. So if you want to host a buyer seminar or maybe one for seniors, you're going to do that. There's also one for social media, what we're talking about tonight. The online leads, if you're curious as to what are some good references for online leads, they'll actually break down in here. If I do Zillow versus HomeLight and things like that, how much is my spend? How much can I expect in a return? So it kind of breaks that down. And then there's more. So those playbooks are great. Then if I go into the browse all, this is going to be all the different courses. So in here, you can go and you can see any of them that you might want. Here is Ignite here in the KWU classes. So we'll look at that one. But the other one that I like to point out is hopefully you got the Millionaire Real Estate Agent book, which of course this course is based off of. But there is a great pairing with it if I go all the way down to book club. And in this book club, it has all of the different Keller Williams books. And if I go into the Millionaire Real Estate Agent, you're going to see little resources and little episodes. So each one of these is about an hour, but it's talking about the different segments of the book. So after you read that segment, play the video, and it's really going to help solidify what it is that they're talking about. So I like to point that out if you're going to be reading the book. But as far as Ignite, you're going to go in here to Ignite and scroll all the way down. It says you can buy this stuff. You don't need to buy it. You can download everything. There's some videos, and then right at the top here is your Ignite student manual right there. You also have copies of all the slides that go with the different classes. Now, this particular class is, it's set for 20. This one I think is only 13. I know in my office, we only do 10. So it omits some of the slides, but honestly, you're not missing anything. Right in the middle, there's a bunch of repeat. So a lot of offices just eliminate the repeat ones. We are focusing tonight on 7 and 8, so that would be those two. And when you're in the manual, you go in here and then you can download it right from here. Right here.
Heather, when you said you don't have to purchase the course materials, what did you do? Did you click that green link?
No, you just keep scrolling down
Oh,
and then you'll see this Ignite student manual right here.
oh, I see it. I had
Yep,
to
yep.
scroll.
If you click it, then they're gonna want your credit card. Then they want your credit card. So don't click that. Just keep scrolling. Now, you're not gonna want to print this because it's 350 pages, but it's a good reference. What I would recommend though is the last 50 is your conversations. So that one I would print. That is going to be your conversations for open houses, for buyers, for sellers, for sale by owners. It's going to have those scripts or conversations. So the last 50 pages of this book for sure. Then the other one that I want to point out, and I actually recently downloaded it, so I'm going to open it up here, is like I said, we're in section 7 and 8. If I go to, oh, actually, let me go to the one that I saved. Right here, right in the middle, it's like page 7.9. There is a checklist here, preparing for an open house. We're going to kind of go over it, but since I already have the book open before I start the slides, this is where you're going to go. Now, this book was written in 2020. So you are going to see some COVID stuff on here, but most of it is going to be very, very relevant of what to do and what days to do it. It's going to have that all prepared out for you, and that's 2 pages. So this is also something in the book. It shows page 113 that you're going to want to make copies of, because it tells you 3 days before and then 2 days before, day of, that type of thing. So having that.
I'm sorry, I apologize. I had to step out for a minute. I'm sorry, when you went browse all, where did you hit? Did you go to Ignite? Sorry, I'm in that step. I fell behind a little bit.
You're in which step?
Where just like the very beginning where it says browse all, and then do you hit Ignite?
Yes. Yep.
Ignite.
Ignite.
Okay, thank you. And then from
then
Ignite,
scroll down for right here, the Ignite student manual.
Ignite all the way down.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I see. Ignite.
All right, cool.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other questions about this?
No, but I did want to say, Heather, that if anyone on here is like me that need to write and highlight, you can print this out at Staples. I think it was like $60, and they did a double side, and I did black and white, not color, but it allowed me to create, I don't know if you guys can see it, but it's like a binder. And so if you are like that need to write, maybe that $60, I'll say it's not that much, but that's relative, and
right.
But it's a decision, right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, before I started teaching it, I had the office get me all of them, and you can see they're all right here, because I like to read stuff off paper too. And it's hard to teach actually when you're trying to go between a couple different things. So yes. Oh, somebody said their office is getting in the book. That's cool. I mean, you can also ask your office. Really, I mean, absolutely, if you like to write stuff down, but the core is those last 50 pages, because that's what you should be practicing, and those are the scripts. So those are the ones that you want to keep separate and have that. All right. Okay, somebody asked if offices have hard copies. Usually not, because they cost a lot of money, so they would have to buy them. That's why the cost is put to you. But your office, depending on your printing structure, they may be willing to print one off for you, or you can print one off there for whatever the cost is for you to print stuff. So everybody does it different. We are able to do black and white prints, so we do that. Okay. Going back into my slides. No. Okay. All right, so I like to do the quotes from the book. It takes time to learn something, more time to implement it, and even longer to approach mastery of it. So does anybody know how long it takes to master something? Any idea? To master something, it takes 40 hours a week for about 5 years to be considered a master of something. So nobody expects you to be a master. It depends on what it's yours. Yep. Nobody expects you to be a master of doing all of this stuff. The work is going to teach you. The business is going to teach you, and that's how you're going to get better at doing all of these different things. But you need to put in the time in order to become a master of any of these things. Oh, you know what? I'm actually in my open house one. Sorry, capturing leads. I switched when I went back over. All right, guys. Let me get back out and go back in. They use the same guy on the front of both of them. Okay. Well, here's this quote. Nothing else about your business will have as big of an impact on it as the number of leads you get. So that's our focus tonight for sure. You've mastered, please, and thank you. Thanks. All right, cool. All right. So first off, we talk a lot about limiting beliefs, and let's just dispel some of those regarding open houses right off the top. The first one, I don't have a listing to hold open. Every office does it a different way, but ultimately you need to ask other agents in your market center for permission to hold a listing at their house. Teams are going to be your best source because they're going to have a lot more listings. Right, there's people in the waiting room. Grab them. There we go. They're gonna have a lot more listings, so you're gonna have the ability to have more choices. But one of the things I would suggest doing is, if your office shares a Facebook page, putting that out there, or really paying attention when people are asking for someone to sit in open house. It doesn't happen as often in this market, but if someone has an open house last weekend and the house didn't sell, reach out to that agent and ask if you can do an open house this weekend. The seller might like it, might help out that agent, so you can pay attention that way. The other thing is, if you do have some bigger teams and you do start to go and talk to them a lot, you can start to become their kind of preferred go-to person, where they'll start asking you like, hey, we've got this house that's coming on this weekend or that weekend. Are you available to do the open houses? So really just starting to introduce yourself to other people in the market center. This is where you should never have the limiting belief that people do not want to take your call or email or text, because agents who've been in the business a while understand that the agents that step forward and the agents that raise their hand and say, yes, I want to do it. Yes, I want to work your open house. I want to do your showing or whatever, are the ones they want to be in business with. So do not let that, like, oh, they don't want to hear from me, they think I'm new. They want to hear from you. The ones that participate the most as a coach are the ones that I get asked about the most. Like, hey, what's going on with that person? They're always volunteering, or they're always doing this or that. So don't let that limiting belief. I don't have any signs yet. Hopefully your market center has some. Otherwise, whoever you're doing the open house for, ask to use theirs. Now, it may not have your name on it, but at least you're getting the crowd or driving the people to your open house. So asking them. I may not know the answers to the questions visitors have. So with that, there's always going to be questions. The ones that you can prepare for are going to be knowing the neighborhood really, really well. You're going to want to make sure that you know other houses that recently sold in that neighborhood. So if they say, hey, did you see that house down the street that it recently sold, that you're not like, what house? I had no idea. So knowing the neighborhood, also knowing any of the area attractions, as the parks, where the grocery stores are, what do people like about that neighborhood? What's maybe a unique feature about that neighborhood that you can say to somebody? I've held open houses where the neighborhood does like a Halloween parade. So I'll let people know that, hey, they do a Halloween parade for kids. They have a picnic in the afternoon, in the summertime. You know, if you don't have that information, ask that list agent. Or ask that list agent if you can have a conversation with the seller about some unique things about the area. You always want to get permission from the list agent, but a lot of times they're fine with it because they know that you're trying to have the best open house that you can. Any of the other information about the market in that area. So try to be real hyper local and really know that neighborhood, that city, so that you can give them any of those answers. And open houses don't really work because most people look online. If you were at Family Reunion or saw any of the slides from Family Reunion, you know that that's not true, because even though people look online, they still need a realtor. And 51% of buyers go through an open house at some time during their looking. So if over half of the people come through, your odds are pretty good at still meeting a buyer and either finding a buyer for that house or helping that buyer a different time. And then I won't feel safe. Well, definitely, if you have those feelings, you want to do the buddy system and bring somebody else with you. Bring a partner or spouse, maybe bring another agent if you guys want to do it together and you guys can split the leads. Whatever makes you feel comfortable. And we'll get into a little bit more about safety, but you can definitely control how safe you feel in that house. Great. Okay. Who benefits from the open house? Well, the seller benefits because he's driving people there. You're also getting feedback for them. You're having possibly the buyer come through. It is one of the misconceptions that the buyer is not going to walk through. It's always going to be from another agent. So many agents send their buyers to open houses. I send my buyers to open houses. A lot of people don't like to. They fear that that agent's going to steal them or whatever. Like I said, I've been doing this 9 years. I've never had anyone steal my people because they went to an open house. I, of course, educate them ahead of time and say, let them know you're working with me. And sometimes I'll give them some of my cards, but it's a great way if they want to go to a lot of different open houses in a lot of different neighborhoods. And maybe they're not quite ready to be serious about buying. They just want to be looking, that I send them on to open houses. The buyers, obviously, they're getting into open houses. I encourage my buyers, so once again, I live in like the Chicagoland area. So we have a lot of different price pointed areas. For instance, I'll tell people, go and look at an open house in this neighborhood and see what 300,000 looks like. Then go to this neighborhood over here, a little pricier, and see what 300,000 looks like. So you can understand what you're getting for your money if they're trying to decide between different areas. So they definitely can benefit by getting in there and seeing houses. The neighbors do, because it's attracting people to their area. They also might come through, which is great for you if you're there, because you can meet the neighbors and offer them any information or possibly get them as a lead or connection. But then they're also benefiting by hopefully getting a great new neighbor. And then you, of course, are getting the leads. Ideally, you'd like to sell that house if you're not the list agent, and you'd love to have the buyer walk through and you could present an offer. The more practical is that the buyer's going to come through and they won't offer on that particular one, but they may in the future. Any buyer that walks through, the average time is anywhere from a year to 18 months before they're ready to buy. A year to 18 months is the average. So what does that immediately tell you? If you get an open house lead, it needs to be nurtured at a long time. So if you start sending people things, if you're reaching out, if you're doing your 36 touches and you're going through you're sending them smart plans and you're not hearing anything in the first 6 months and 9 months, don't be discouraged, because it may take up to a year before that person is actually ready. Now, every agent will tell you they've had people who are coming through, they have their lender letter, they're ready to go, and maybe they don't have an agent and you can pick them up right away. Those do happen, but we're just talking about the average overall. Some of the benefits of hosting an open house. The first one is it's inexpensive, which is great. It's definitely a low cost way that you can start to work your business. Other than maybe doing marketing materials and printing those in color, maybe you do buy yourself a couple signs, maybe you buy some type of snack or something that you want to hand out. You don't have to put a lot of money into it. It's more your time. It's the time and getting ready, and we'll talk about all of that, but it's the time and preparation and the things that you're doing around the open house in order to market it that's going to be most of your time. It's great prospecting tools where you're going to be able to use the fact that you're hosting an open house on social media. Maybe you're going to do door knocking and pass out flyers to the neighbors. Any of those types of things to get more prospecting that you can do. High return on investment because you're not paying that much. And so if somebody comes through and they're looking to buy in the next 2 to 3 months, you're getting that without most likely having to pay any type of referral fee, anything to any third-party site that gave you the lead. So high return on investment. And qualified leads. So qualified meaning that you were able to already talk with them. You were able to get that face-to-face. You were able to make a great impression on them that then it can hopefully translate to a relationship with them. So as opposed to just doing cold calling or getting a Facebook lead, you've already gotten in front of this person and you've already met them face-to-face. So the qualifying of the leads is definitely a larger benefit at this time. All right. I don't think there's any ahas yet. Some of the things that you want to do are you're going to want to set goals for yourself. Now, it may sound silly at first, like what would be my goal? But you always want to have a goal for any type of event that you're going to have. So maybe your goal is I want to get 5 leads from this open house. I want to get 5 quality leads that I can nurture, that I can grow and hopefully turn into business. If you're not putting yourself from E to P for going to purposeful and writing down your goals, then you're just there to have an open house. So you want to set your goals and make sure that that's what you're striving for. You will find if you set your goals for, like I said, if it's 5 people, when you only have 4 people and maybe your time's running out and a couple more people come through, you're going to be more intentional about those conversations. You're going to be more intentional about making that great impression because you're trying to hit your goal rather than not having any goal at all. Picking the house. So think about your market's numbers. A lot of times, even though I still highly encourage you to ask teams, if a house has been on the market a while, maybe it's a foreclosure, maybe it needs a lot of work, this might not be the house to pick for your open house. This might not be the best use of your time. So make sure when somebody's advertising an open house that you take a quick look at it and see if that's a right fit for you. Also, if it's an area that you're completely unfamiliar with, are you going to be able to learn about that area before you do the open house? Because nothing's worse than if you're standing in the house and people are asking you questions about the area and you had to use your GPS to get there and you know nothing about that area. That's a waste of your time because those people are going to know it and they're not going to respond to you or to any of the things you might send them or try to connect with them at a later date. So picking the house is important and knowing the market numbers. You know, if the house first comes on the market, you want to try to get into that open house right away while people are trying to go in and see it. Not necessarily if it has been on the market for 3 or 4 weeks with no price adjustment, then that's not the best use of your time. Now, if they did take a price adjustment, then absolutely ask if you can do that open house. Prepare and practice. So consider inviting a speaker like an inspector or a lender. Lenders love to sponsor open houses. They will come and they'll bring some literature about some of their buying programs that are going to be there. They may stay for a little bit of time. They may stay the whole time. Just depends on the lender and the relationship that you have with them. They might drop off little mini waters. I've had them do lots of things like that. So it's great to have a person like that, to where there's someone else that the different people that come through can also talk to. So if you know that you're going to be hosting a hot house that's going to get a lot of traffic, tell a lender, hey, would you like to do this with me? Then also that covers your safety aspect, because now you're there with somebody that you know, as opposed to there by yourself. And you know, they love to give away a lot of different things as lenders. Pick the time and the theme. So most of the time it's going to be your regular Saturday or Sunday, but you never know. And if it's kind of a unique house, or maybe one in an area that doesn't have a lot of homes go on the market, you could do something on a Thursday night. Maybe you can host something that is a little more unique. We have an agent in our office who is a luxury agent. So all of hers are on Sunday, and they are always a champagne open house. She has all these cute little champagne flutes. She has a little cheese tray, and everybody that comes through can have champagne or sparkling cider. She has that too, but she makes it an event. She invites the whole neighborhood just to come by. She invites her friends because she likes the whirl. She likes the buzz. She likes people to see all the different people that are around and coming through. You're asking if these are empty houses? No, nope. They can have people in them. If there is still an owner, the list agent or yourself is going to have a conversation with that owner that they're not going to be there during that time. If they have pets, they're going to take the pets with them. And if your open house is from 12 to 2 on Sunday, they're going to be gone by like 11. So you can get in there, you can set up, you can get everything ready. And then they won't come back until more like 2:30, because you might have some people that are straggling at the end, but they're not going to be there. So nope, it can be either way. They can be people in there for sure. Let's see. Know your market. I kind of talked about this up at the top, to make sure that you know about that area, that you're not just going in there and slapping down the MLS sheet and thinking you're going to get all these buyers. It's not going to happen. People like that you're prepared. People like to have that information. You might even, what I like to do is have a feature sheet that I like to hand out at the open house, and the features can be of that house. And you might have to have some conversations with the list agent regarding what are some of the features? What's the age of the roof? What's the age of the furnace? When did they remodel this kitchen? What's something unique about it? They might have some of that stuff in their listing, but if they don't, you can make a little sheet that has some of those. And then when people come through, that's something that you can offer them, and you can put your information on it, your phone number, your email address, all of that. You might also bring them market stats. And I'm going to show you one thing when I show you the command for open houses, but knowing the market is where you can print off something about that area. Average days on market, maybe how many homes in the area are currently for sale? What was the average selling price for a home similar to that? Whatever you might want to have, whatever the interesting places, once again, that are around that area. There's a great park over here. There's a trail right down the road, whatever that might be that you can give them. You have to remember, most of the people coming through have no idea about that neighborhood and area. And they might be coming from out of town and moving to the area. So they're looking at you to give them all that information. And then safety. So using the buddy system, like I mentioned, arriving early, parking on the street. You don't want somebody to box in your car. So park on the street, and then that way other people can park there, but you're able to get out. Check all the entrances and exits. I typically, if it is a 3-story house, for instance, I let the sellers know I am only going to be on the main floor. And that is for my safety, because I need to be able to one, be able to see the front door. I need to know who's coming in and who's going out, especially if it's a busy open house. And I need to see the back door, or at least know where that is. A lot of times I will have the back door unlocked, or the sliding door, whatever that might be. And then that way there's two entrances that are open that I can get out easier and I'm not fumbling with the lock. That's a preference. If you feel safer that you want the back door locked because you can't see it, that's okay too. Depends on where it is in the house and if I can see it, but I want to know who the people are. So you're going to encourage them to put away any valuables that somebody might take as they're walking by. They don't want to have bills lying around. They don't want to have a computer sitting there, or a phone, or whatever might be of value that somebody could quickly pick up. And the number one thing that is taken at open houses, who can tell me? What's the number one thing stolen at open houses?
Leads.
No, like
Nope.
property of the owner. What's the number one thing?
Jewelry.
Jewelry. But the number one thing, drugs. People take the drugs out of the medicine cabinet. They will take any prescription drugs that they can get their hand on. A lot of times, oh, thank you. Yep. Hey, somebody from my office. You knew the answer. Cheated. No, I'm kidding. Crazy no, because he's from my office. Anyway, that a lot of people who may not even necessarily have an addiction problem, but may have a nice little lucrative business on the side. And this is what they do. They come through open houses and they take the prescription drugs. So you want to tell the seller that they need to secure any of that, put it in a different location, not just have that out. But like you said, jewelry is another great example. Anything of value that somebody could slip in their pockets and that I would not notice when they're walking out the door is definitely recommended. So somebody else asked in the chat about staging luxury homes. I think you're really depending on what area that you're in, if it requires staging or not. So here it's kind of the price point of the home depends on if people stage it. So if you're under 400,000, most people don't stage those houses. Once you get up into the higher end, then they would. You wouldn't necessarily just stage for the open house. It would be something that you do. It's quite a bit of an expense to you if you don't have that staging stuff already. They charge you an initial setup fee, and then they charge you some of them are per week, some of them are monthly, and so it can be a pretty big cost to you to stage that property. So you would need to make that up in your commission if you were having that. As far as conceal and carry, that's going to be your own preference. It's also going to be the preference of the list agent. Since this is kind of lots of different states, I don't want to say specifically, but you're going to want to follow whatever that city and state guidelines are for what you can do. I know a lot of them do have, when you are hosting an open house, it does become a public place. So whatever the rules are in your area, I'd ask your market center for that. Some of the others are make sure your cell phone's fully charged. There's some areas when I've been in open houses, they are cell phone battery suckers. They just are constantly looking for a signal, and all of a sudden my phone's nearly dead. So make sure you have the little backup battery with you. Turn on all the lights so that you can see everything and everybody can get around. And if your market center has any other rules or guidelines about open houses, make sure to do that. But one of the other things that you can do too is for sure let somebody know when you're starting and let somebody know when you're ending in your life. And then if you're not, if you haven't contacted them or whatever, they now know there might be an issue. So you want to make sure that somebody in your life knows where you are and knows what, and knows how long you should be there. When you go and turn on all the lights or turn them all off, sometimes when I've been in houses where the lights are down in the basement, and like I said, this is the main reason why I want to keep my eyes on the front door. I don't want to be going and turning the lights off now once everybody's gone, or I think they're gone and somebody's down in the basement. So keeping your eye on that front door and keeping that home secure. And I've never had any seller say, oh no, we want you to go in every area of the house. we don't want you to guard your safety and guard the home, because you're also, you know, making sure there's not somebody hiding in their house when they get home. So keep your eye on that front door. And also, if somebody's trying to ask you a question about an area, and they're trying to lure you into an area, put your red flags up. I know an agent who was working an open house, and somebody kept saying, I just don't see the water heater in the basement. Can you come show me? Can you come show me? And she's like, it's down, it's to the right. Can you come show me? Can you come show me? To where she started to get really freaked out. So she took her cell phone and went outside into the front and was outside until that person finally came out, but just got herself out of the house. And then they eventually left, but she put herself out on the lawn so nothing would happen to her. So whatever it is that you can do, you are the number one thing. Don't worry about the house. It's only things, it's not you. All right. Any questions to this point that anybody has? All right. The difference between big and really big is how you manage your time and focus. So I am always talking about, if it is not in your calendar, if you're not planning everything ahead, then things get away from you. So really making sure that you're focusing and that you are preparing. So that's what we're going to talk about next. You're going to prepare, you're going to prospect, and then you're going to pursue. So we're going to talk about some things that you need to do to prepare for the open house, all the ways that you can prospect around it, and then how you're going to pursue during and then after. All right. So when we prepare, I have to close some of these tabs so I can see. Most of our work for an open house is done on the day of the open house. So first you got to prepare your mindset. Sorry. How am I going to come off? How am I going to present myself? How am I going to get myself ready? If you are somebody who gets nervous being in front of someone, you're going to want to practice. You're going to want to have a script practice partner. You're going to want to practice how you're going to greet someone so that when they walk in, you feel more comfortable. Welcome. Thanks so much for coming today. What brings you out into this area? How long have you been looking? Whatever it is that you wanted to start to talk with them about. Practice those conversations. Get in the right headspace, because if you're not, sorry, you're not going to have a good open house. All right. Here's the week before the open house. You're going to select the open house or ask somebody for it. On Tuesday, you're going to start posting online, walk the neighborhood, invite neighbors to show. You can definitely do this on Tuesday. This is if you're just going to be putting out flyers, things like that. Also, you can see on Friday, it has door knocking. Actually, statistically, most people are home Friday afternoon. So if you say, when's the best time to door knock? If you want to door knock during the week, Friday afternoon is the best time, because a lot of people take half days on Friday. Wednesday, you're going to post online again. Install your yard sign. So if this is not your listing, if they have a sign and you have a writer that has your information on it, ask if you can put that up. I apologize. I've talked too much today. Ask if you can put that up and put your little writer there. If not your name, that it's open Sunday or open Saturday, 1 to 3, whatever your sign might say, because if people are driving by, your goal is to get more people to your open house. So you want to have something on the sign. On Thursday, post online again, invite your database. So even though it might not be the area that your people, that you know that your people are in, or my family doesn't live in that area, I'm not going to send those out. You don't know who they might know, who might be in that area. And also you're just showing that you're in business. You're just showing this is something that you're doing. You do it as an invite. Hey, come and join me at this open house. I'd love to see all my friends and family see this house. It's super cool because of whatever reason, any of that. So you're just inviting them to come. Or if you know of anybody, let me know who they are. I'd be happy to show them around during my open house. And then posting again, prepare your market stats like we talked about, print the flyers and start door knocking. So the recommend with door knocking is 10 each way. So 10 in each direction. Everybody will maybe tell you something different. Wear comfortable shoes. If you're going to door knock, look nice, but it's a workout because you can't cross on people's lawns. So if it is a big neighborhood, you're going to be doing a lot of walking to get all the way around and having conversations. You can choose to knock on the door, not choose to knock on the door, but ultimately it is called door knocking. So we do encourage you to knock on the door and have that conversation. Hey, did you see that your neighbor at 123 Main Street went on the market a couple days ago? Oh yeah, no, I saw that. Well, we're just inviting the neighbors because we find sometimes they might know somebody who was looking to move into the area. So we wanted to let you know that. So we're just inviting everybody to come on over during the open house and take a look and see the house and see if you know of anybody. I've door knocked for years. I got my very first listing from door knocking for an open house that was not my own. So I am a big believer that it does definitely work for you. It actually was a lady who was cleaning up after a garage sale, and it was her mother's house. Her mother had passed away, but me coming up to her, but talking to her, all of that, that's how I got my first listing. Also with another open house, I was door knocking, and just exactly how I said, a neighbor who was, if the house was here, she was way down here, like she was maybe 4 blocks away and another 2 blocks over. And so she didn't know this house was listed. But when I told her, she said, oh, this looks just like my neighbor's house, same model. And my brother's really been trying to get in the neighborhood. And I did not represent the brother. He already had a realtor, but it ended up the brother bought the house. And it was because I let her know and because they came to my open house. So getting out there, talking to people, it definitely does work. And it definitely does, it can provide you business. If nothing else, it gets you into the conversations and gets you practicing your real estate conversations. Any questions about preparing that way? All right. What clients like to know? We've already talked about that they like to know about the community and the neighborhood, maybe any relocation information. So if somebody asked you for that, you may not have that ready right at the open house, but you can say, I can absolutely get that for you. And you might get them city numbers, here their village numbers, and who they might need to contact about relocating. Maybe ask your office if they have some sort of relocation package that that they work with or hand out to people. First-time buyers are going to have a lot of questions. They're going to want to know more than people who've bought before, obviously. They might have more lending questions, more time on market questions. They're going to be looking, but they may not know what they should be looking for. So you're going to provide more information to them about other homes in the area, or how you know this home compares to other homes, and give them that information, giving them that information about how long does it take from when they write the offer to when they can close on it. How long is the inspection process? What does an inspector typically look for? Any of those types of things where you're trying to come from value, and that you are showing them that you're somebody they should be in business with, that you have a lot of information to provide to them. When you get into mortgage information, if you have a lender there, great. If not, then you can talk to them about maybe any lending programs that your preferred lender might be running. Or you can talk to them about how getting their lender letter, obviously before they're offering on a house, at least here in Illinois. Nobody's even going to look at your offer unless you have that lender letter. So letting them know that even if they might be looking, because remember, we're dealing with people who might be 12 months to 18 months out, even though they might be looking, that and they might not be ready quite yet, they might have some things they need to clean up with their credit, with their debt to income ratio, whatever that might be. So starting to work with one of your preferred lenders where they can get that evaluation and then see what they might need to clean up to get themselves ready to get that mortgage. So for instance, when I first bought well over 20 years ago, they told us to, sorry, I have to let a couple more people in. They told us to, refinance our car at the time. They felt like the interest rate was too high. So they wouldn't, they said, clean that up, and that's going to help with your debt to income ratio because of that interest rate. So we did that before we got our first house. I've had other people say, oh, I've been paying off on this credit card for so long, when actually then when they speak with the lender or a person who advises them how to fix their credit, that wasn't the one they should have been working on. They should have been trying to pay this other thing off first. So just encourage them that way. And when you get them, give them that lender information, you need their information to give it to them. Now you've given them something of value. Now you have a reason to check back with them. All right. Then prospect. You're going to build trust and rapport with all of the different things, value, like we said, and capture information and qualify the lead. So as they're coming through, you're going to want to be, getting their information and qualifying that. Okay, sorry, somebody put this in the chat. I'm trying to get first-time buyer, past regulations. Yep, I read what you said. So yeah, what you're saying is that basically that's where you can do better. Yeah, get the people in to talk with the lender and get them all squared away. Also tell them that most lenders don't recheck their credit or pull their credit. They just keep updating like their, they'll ask them if they're still employed at the same place and might be pay stubs or something like that. People think, oh, if they pull my credit way early, that now they're going to have to pull it again later. That's not the case. So that's just a misconception. And also they think it's going to reduce, if they apply for more, if they are getting a lender letter from more than one lender or they're lender shopping, they think it's going to affect their credit. It doesn't. It comes up in the credit report as lender shopping because they haven't actually gotten a loan for anything. So it's not going to affect your credit until you get the loan. So once again, people have a lot of ideas that are not true, and you just have to be the one that educates them about that. All right. Greet everyone that comes in the door, engage in conversation, and be positive. So if they're saying negative things about the house, that's okay. You know, they can have their opinions, but it's your job to be positive. Your goal is you're trying to represent the house and sell the house, and that you are positive towards them. You want to make sure that as much as you can control that you're treating everybody equally. If you're giving a greeting to one person, you're not going to let somebody else walk in and not get greeted, and then you greet the next person and they're going to wonder, why in the world didn't she greet me? Why don't I deserve a greeting? And now that person's put off and you've got trouble. So make sure you're greeting everybody in the same way. Maybe it's that you're asking them to sign in, whatever that might be, or maybe you have a couple things that you want to say about the house. Thanks so much for coming. This is a 3-bedroom, 2.5 bath house with a partial basement. I think you're really going to love the addition that they put on the back. Go ahead and take a look and start walking around. I'm here with any questions. Otherwise, I'm going to check on you in a little bit. Simple greeting. Now they feel comfortable. They know, come to me with questions. I've left that door wide open. If I don't have a lot of people, of course, I'm going to be coming back around to them and talking to them. So you want to make everybody feel welcome, because sometimes people feel a little sheepish when they start coming to your open house, and they feel like a little nervous to even be coming initially. Know your team stats, or your office stats, if you have that. If people might want to say, how many homes have you sold? And all of a sudden you're like, oh no, this is the moment I have feared for long that someone was going to ask me if I've sold any homes yet or not. You can definitely just say, my team and I have sold 12 homes this year already. We're excited about this one, whatever it is you want to say. Or my market center averages X number my office averages X number of homes per year. You can spend those questions pretty easily to where it can divert from you. Understand personality types. Some people are going to be real chatty. Some people don't want to talk at all. So just kind of read the room and the body language with that. Have something to offer the visitors. I like to do little water bottles. This time of year, sometimes I do Girl Scout cookies because that's kind of what's everybody's selling right now. You could do champagne like Holly. You could have just a little candy right there. Doesn't have to be much. You might have, you might even, when it's to offer, it might be that feature sheet and you're giving them those features of the house that they're not getting anywhere else, or market stats about the neighborhood. You can have a sign-in sheet and have that written out. My recommendation is don't use one that's like number 1, number 2, number 3, number 4, because if number 1 fills out the name, the email address, the phone number, and then the second one just fills out maybe the email address, but none of the rest, well, guaranteed the third one's not going to fill all of it out because it's going to copy the one above. So if you have a sign-in sheet, do individual pages. That's also great because then after that person leaves, on their page, you can make some notes. Came through with their son and daughter. Son was really into Power Rangers or something like that. Whatever's going to trigger your memory to remember those people. They came from Franklin Park. They mentioned that they have been looking for a while. Whatever it is that is going to help you, that you can put in your notes into command later, so that once you're working with them, if they happen to contact you, you can reference that and be like, oh yeah, that's who that is. I had an open house and the person probably contacted me 2 years later. And in my notes was that it was a woman who came through with her mother and her son. And the son loved Paw Patrol. So when I talked with her, I was like, is your son still love Paw Patrol? And she's like, oh my God, I can't believe you remembered that. I wouldn't have if I hadn't written it down. Those people, I actually ended up selling their house, buying their house. I'm working with their mother right now, and they referred me to one other person. So you never know who you're going to meet when you come through an open house. And remember, you're there to get leads and appointments. Remember your goals. Remember why you are there. Sorry, I also use the KW app. I'm actually going to show you this new cool way with the website that you can use as a sign-in sheet. And ask them lots of questions, because ultimately you're trying to get to know them and you're trying to listen for how you can help them and what information you can provide to them. All right. And lastly, follow up and convert the leads after the open houses. You got to put them into your command right away. Follow up with a thank you for attending my open house. Maybe it's a text. I know one agent that's literally texting them as they are getting in their car. If she has the time, she's putting in their number and thanking them as they walk out. The funny thing about that is when she starts the text, if it doesn't come through and the person's still there, she'll say, oh, you'd written down, was this a 6 or a 9? Because I was going to send you some info and it didn't go through, and the person's totally busted. They end up giving them their correct phone number. It's kind of funny, but she does do that. Reevaluate your goals you set. Did you succeed? What changed? What will you do differently next time? So you always want to keep improving. You want to see what might have worked for you, what didn't, maybe the way that you handled a situation or a question. And if somebody asks you a question that you don't know the answer to, those that are in my office, in my coaching program, I tell them this all the time. You say, great question. I know how I would answer, but in this case, I'm going to ask the list agent and get right back to you with that. Can I get your phone number, or can I confirm your phone number to get that? People then think like, wow, I asked a really important question that she has to confirm, or I asked something that nobody else has asked and they feel pretty cool about themselves. But it's your way of, you have no idea. And so you want to confirm. If it is your own listing, you're going to say, I want to follow up with the seller with that. If it's a question that's not related to the house, you're going to say, I'm going to follow up with my partner in the office. It might be your coach, it might be your managing broker, whoever that person is for you, that you're then going to run off, quickly call, quickly ask, and be able to give them that information. Now, you might want to give them that information while they're still touring, but the goal is that you followed up with them after, because that's what you want to show them, is that you followed up after the entire time. And that will make you look a lot better in their eyes as far as somebody who to work with. All right. What questions do you guys have about that?
I have a question.
Okay.
So even if it wasn't your open house and you're just hosting, do you still want to call them and say thank you for stopping by, right? The open house.
Yeah, absolutely. They're your leads. They're your people. Yep.
Oh, got it. Thank you.
Yep. Most of the time, check with your market center, but at least in mine, if you do the open house, they're your leads. You owe nothing to that person who is the list agent. They let you have anything that happened during that open house. So if you don't call, nobody's going to call.
Okay, perfect.
All right. Any others? All right. Planning the open house. Before we do that, we're going to do our 10-minute lead gen exercise. Now, this is going to be around social media. And this is one that is not just for tonight, but this is one that I want you guys to focus on. Really, as you're saying to yourself, how can I lead gen? When can I do it? This is where is DMing people. So you're going to log into Facebook on your phone, go to your profile page, your friend list. You're going to start with the A's, B's, C's, and go on from there. Don't post more than 20 of identical DMs a day. There is an algorithm with different social media that they'll think you're a spam and they'll kick you out. So don't do a ton. But that's actually okay. Because if I said to you, I just want you to DM one of these messages to 20 people, that doesn't sound overwhelming. They're all a little different depending on where you are in your real estate business. So, hey, it's Heather. How have you been? I'm excited because I just joined one of the best real estate offices in our area. It's a part-time job for now, but I'm updating my real estate database. And I know somebody said they were working on their database. I send out real estate information about your neighborhood, videos, and tools periodically. I'm just starting my real estate career and I really need to be better about staying in touch with people I know. Would you mind replying with your home address, phone number, and email to help me out? If you get the positive response down at the bottom, thank you. I really appreciate it. I wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't ask if you or anyone you know had any real estate goals that I could help with. So sending that out to people, seeing what you can do to get that information and start that lead gen conversation. When we did this in my office, one of these 10-minute lead gens, a guy in coaching sent this out. He's actually a tennis coach, and he sent this to somebody that he coaches. And that person replied back, "That's amazing. I actually have 2 townhomes I need to sell." So that was just last month, and him and I are working on that right now, getting him ready to sell those 2 townhomes from sending this out in Ignite in a 10-minute exercise. So try to tell me it doesn't work. I'm not going to believe you. So I'm going to set the timer for 10 minutes. Let me know if you have any questions. I'm going to grab more water.
Hey, my computer cut off. Is there anyone that can tell me what we're doing right now? I had to log back in.
The lead generation from your social media, and I think she still has that picture up, and you're copying that
Oh,
that statement on your direct messages, and she said don't do any more than 20.
oh, okay. Okay. So that's what we should be doing, sending it to some people. Thank you
Uh-huh.
so much.
You're welcome.
Thanks, guys. We've got about 5 minutes left. How hard it was. That's funny. There you go. Now you're working on your downline. Now you're working on your profit share. You get them into the K score. Every office has it. That's awesome. Say I can hook you up with somebody and they can get you the information. Now you're working on that. That's awesome. Got about 2 minutes left, guys. All right. Other than Vinny, who's asking people asked about real estate, which is awesome. Does anybody have any other feedback? Anybody get any responses back right away that they want to share? I love the ones about getting into real estate. I did the recruiting all last year, so it was one of my favorite questions. Absolutely. All right. Then we're going to head on into social media. And for some of you that just came on, we wrapped up open houses and now we're going to get into social media. And then I'm going to show you a little bit with how you can connect your command, how you can use your command and use MetaSuite. So that's what we're going to do with our last 45 minutes together. So first off, as you go through your success systems, you've been introduced to the 10-5-1 engagement system. So we're just going to kind of go over that a little bit more. Definitely social media is powerful and free, which is always the best thing about social media, is that you don't have to pay for anything, but you do have to be purposeful with it and you have to be consistent with it so that you can engage with your followers and people can connect with you. So we are going to talk about how. The first one is 10 likes or 10 loves. So you're going to want to get more in the habit of liking people's posts per day. Ideally, you want to be strategic with who you're going to like, if you're specifically targeting people who you want to be in real estate business with. So as much as you want to like your moms or your best friends, that's great. Those people are going to use you. You want to start to target people who are your past coworkers, or maybe people who you went to high school with, or maybe people that you're in a league with, whatever that might be, you're targeting in on them and liking their posts and acknowledging them in whichever social media that might be. Then you're going to connect by making comments. With Instagram, they say in order for the comment to the algorithm to pick it up and any of that, it needs to be at least 5 words. So you don't want to just say, congratulations. You want to say, congratulations on your new endeavor. That's amazing, whatever. But you want to make it a little bit longer, but you want to connect with them. I believe you can definitely make the comments, or I think this also connects with the direct messaging. So the next one is 1 share, 1 direct message, or 1 original post. I think a lot of times, if it is something that's really special in that person's life, or maybe it's a loss in that person's life, it's okay to just drop it in the comment, but maybe message them, or if you have their personal phone number, to text them. It means more. It shows that you took a little bit more effort because you took it off of the main platform and you put it to the side. So direct messaging someone or 1 share a day is also recommended. You want to, with the 1 share, if somebody made it public, it's something that you can help them out with. Are they trying to raise money for something? Are they trying to promote something themselves? Do they have an event that they're encouraging people to go to? Share that on your sites, because then it shows that you're helping them. People love that. They will always reply back to you. Thanks so much for doing that for me. I really appreciate you getting the word out. So sharing something that they're doing, or posting yourself an original post that you come up with that you can have on yours to be relevant. If you do not have a Facebook business page, create one, because people look at you online. You should be on Facebook, you should be on Instagram, and you should have a Facebook business page. Also be in LinkedIn. You can, if you have other platforms, that's great, but you need to be in these top ones. As far as LinkedIn, you don't have to do as much in there just because that's mostly, people you're in business with, but you want to have a presence. Your Facebook business page is the one that you definitely want to have a long presence. So if you're saying, but I don't have anything that I'm listing, I'm not in the business yet, I don't have stuff to do, that's okay. I'm going to show you where you can get some posts today, but you want to have that history. You want to have that scrollability that when somebody looks it up and they say, they see your business page, that they're scrolling and they're seeing it through time. It doesn't matter what it is. It shows that you're established and that you've been in business. You want the scrollability. So you don't want one post, you don't want them to open your Facebook business page and the post was from last October. That does not look like somebody who is in their business and working in their business. That looks like someone who started a page and then totally abandoned it. So start a Facebook page and then start going through. The other thing I'll say is start a Google business page. Make sure that you are present. What's the number one way that people search? Google. Why wouldn't you be on Google if it's the number one way people search? So you may have to get with your market center. If you don't, what will happen is you'll sign up. You just go onto Google and sign up and register yourself as a business. And then they'll send you something in the mail with like some codes and some information because they have to make sure that you really are that person. You want to make it your office, your market center address. The only reason you might have to coordinate with your market center is if you're like ours and there's 300 people, well, it's going to show 300 people all coming out of the same office in the same space. And they have to clarify it with the market center that you are the right person. And they usually can do that. And then you can get that done. Then you also need to put stuff and get reviews and do all that on Google. Number one search, why wouldn't you be there? Question. Please be patient, currently under construction. Yeah. How long's that been up? Yay, you're my prime example of setting it up and then ghosting. All right. When you do your posts, you want to keep, this would be more like your personal page now we're talking about, not your business page. That one you can definitely keep all business all the time. That's fine. We're talking about your personal page. 80% personal, 20% business. You want to still show people who you are and what you're doing and your family or whatever you've been typically showing on there. And then you want to start peppering in the business page, the business post. It does not need to be as cold as every single time saying something about, do you know anyone looking for buying or selling, or I'm looking for more houses to list. It doesn't necessarily always have to be that direct. It can be every once in a while, but it can also be post about you working in the business. If you're showing a house, you take a picture of the house and you say, what an amazing day to be out in Lakewood today. Look at this great house that I'm showing my buyers. You're talking about what you're doing and you're mentioning, hey, by the way, I'm in real estate. Look at this crazy thing that just happened in a home inspection. Does anybody know what this is? People love that, even if you know what it is, because they love to comment and they love to engage and they love to say that they know something about whatever. Or have you ever seen an electrical box this old or whatever that might be? People love to engage with those. So you can make those posts that are about business, but make them kind of fun, whatever it is you might be doing. The number one thing is if you start to get any accolades, can you do everything in one Facebook page? No, you're going to want to have two, a personal and a business, because you have to have that business presence too, as a side to your personal. Your regular friends and family would get sick of the amount of business stuff you need to post. So you need to keep that separate. You still pepper them into the personal, but you need to keep more of a running business page. I had a listing appointment like 2 years ago, and the woman, I went through the whole appointment and she had a folder sitting in front. And at the end of it, she goes, okay. Then she goes, let me show you what I have. And she opened it up and it was printouts of different things of me online. Printout of a bunch of posts from my Facebook business page, something from LinkedIn, something else she found off of Google that I did. So it was all, she had done a deep dive on me. And so you want to have that presence there. When you are posting about the business, like I said, the ones that you can engage in are amazing, where you're letting other people engage, but it's showing everybody that, hey, I'm in real estate. Here's what I'm doing. You can absolutely every once in a while do ask for the direct referrals, but you want to kind of keep it both ways. Great. Here's some examples of the 80%. Pets, everybody loves pets when you put your cute dog or your cute cat on there. Art, cooking, baking recipes, exercise, working out, anywhere you go, live events, team sports, also any of the activities you're in. Are you giving back? Are you working for a charity right now? What are some things that you are doing personally that people can start to learn about who you are and why they should like you if they don't already. Then the real estate listings, open houses, awards, and speaking events. So awards, this was always when you start to get accolades. That's what I was saying before. When you start to get accolades, you start to win awards, you start to have different achievements. You might be hesitant to brag about those on social media. I know I was. Even if you definitely wouldn't want to say, this is my first listing. We don't want to do that. You just want to say, this is the listing. People aren't going to remember. One of my favorite things to say in coaching is no one is paying attention to you as much as you. And keep that in your head because you're thinking, I put that out there 6 months ago. Somebody else is going to remember that. Nobody remembers. Nobody cares. Sorry. It's the same for all of us. There's so much information and so much data that's thrown at everyone. We can't remember. We don't want to remember. We see it in a 2-second scroll. We absorb it and we move on. So you can put with a listing, coming soon, on the market, open house, just went under contract, just passed appraisal, closed. Thanks so much for my buyers. It looks like you have all this business. Guess what? That's all the same house. And I just did 8 posts about all the same house. So you can be doing that. And then people will start to say, wow, you must really have a booming business. As I've seen a lot of posts about it. And you're like, really, one house? But they don't know that. They don't pay that much attention. But with awards, they want to see that. When I was not posting about any awards or anything that I'd won, and then I did start to do it, our marketing director in the office pulled all the analytics and said, Heather, look at the ones that you get the most engagement, most views, all of that. It was always the ones that I had the awards. And if it didn't prove again, I volunteered to be my neighborhood treasurer for the neighborhood association. They do fun little events throughout the year. And I did a little reel about how I'm the new treasurer. Didn't say I volunteered, just said I'm the new treasurer. And I just did that over the weekend, already has over 1,100 views on Facebook. Lots of people congratulate me and all of that. It's a good number compared to other ones that are in the 200 and 300. So people like to celebrate you. Even if you don't like to celebrate yourself, you have to just get past it. And any speaking events. So if you're going to be speaking somewhere, you're doing something in your business, you want to show that. You want to show that you're doing different things. Hey, I'm going in front of my daughter's class and talking about different jobs, whatever that might be. I'm meeting a bunch of first-time home buyers tonight, whatever it might be, to put it in there. Going above and beyond. So community service, show them your heart. What communities are you getting involved in? Maybe you're helping collect for a clothes drive. Maybe you are going and doing Save My Starving Children, whatever it might be. Post about that. Post that you are giving back. Show people your heart. They love that. Social media strategies. Connect with people you know or who have met you in one way, shape, or another. So you want to not only like their post, that these are the people that you should be DMing. These are the people that you want to start to be your cheerleaders. These are the ones that you want to say, hey, I'm starting this business. It's hard to get going right away. I would love to be connected with anybody that you know that can help me reach my goals. These are already people who know you, love you, want to help you out. All you have to do is ask them. Sometimes we get in our head that it's implied, like they see all my posts, they know I'm in business, they should send me people. No, when you ask them, then they feel compelled. When they see it, they think, oh, that's great. That's nice Heather's doing that. they don't correlate it to, I should be trying to help her out. But when you reach out directly to them, then now it's become even more personal and they're a little bit more invested. Post about your neighborhood. Like I said, I'm the treasurer and I did this little reel. I'll show you guys a little reel about all the little parks and everything in the neighborhood, and I got lots of comments, and I had even people reaching out to me in text and say, wow, your neighborhood's so cool. I'd never known all that. Just a little something that shows about your area. People like to see a lot of images and not just words. You get more connection, more likes, more views if you have images or reels versus just words. Definitely congratulate any new homeowners that you have. Even if you're on a list side, you can say congratulations to the new owners of whatever the date is. Happy you got in there. It just once again shows that you're in business. We talked about posting the listings, all the different options that you can do, the number of times, and then engage back with people. When people comment, make sure that you are commenting back. You don't want to, you want to answer any questions, and you want to keep that excitement going with that post. Definitely get hyper local information. If you live in a highly populated area like I do, you cannot be the expert in all the areas, but you can be an expert in your area. Doesn't mean that other people aren't going to choose you to do to sell in their neighborhood, but pick an area that you like. So I have a major mall that's near me, and I subscribe to their Facebook page. When they have different events, I share those on my Facebook page. When they have a new business opening or the Easter Bunny's coming, that's sharing hyper local information. Subscribe to your village or your town's Facebook page. When they post that there's an Easter egg hunt, now you're posting there's an Easter egg hunt. You want to be where people are getting information from. You can do that on those types I would put on my business and my personal. I would put them on both. You want people to be like, wow, they really seem to keep up with what's going on in the area, and giving people that information. Maybe it's, maybe somebody is, one of the areas is doing an electronic recycle drop off. You want to post about that. Whatever it might be that you know would come of value, then you want to post that. Utilize any tech developments that you can do to highlight all of that, and post about client testimonials. Once again, if you're not comfortable about bragging about yourself, you got to get over it. You got to tell people what other people are saying about you. Thanks so much to the Smith family for what you said. And then you put that things. I'm humbled by the fact that you found such a great house, whatever that might be. Some people put like Testimonial Tuesday, and they'll put a little thing about it and have that phrase from that person. Doesn't mean you have to have a testimonial every Tuesday. People don't remember that you didn't have a testimonial the last Tuesday. It's just something that you do. It's Testimonial Tuesday. It doesn't have to be every week, but you can start that process, start getting that into your social feed. Don't post and ghost. Don't put up something, ask somebody a question, and then people are replying back and you are no longer online and you're not engaging. It only angers people because you're not answering their questions or you're not acknowledging them, and then they're less likely to engage with you again. So if you're going to ask something or take a poll or do whatever, make sure that you are checking back and that you're engaging with the people that are coming through. Now, if people are asking a little bit more complicated questions, that's great. You say, oh, that's a wonderful question. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to give you a call, or I'm going to DM you and give you that information and pull it off of the platform. Why? Because you want somebody else to ask that same question, and then you can DM them. It used to be very much that you'd give everybody the information, like on Instagram, like look to the comments for whatever the information is. Now it's DM me for the link or DM me for more information. Makes the people engage with you, and now you've started that that back and forth with them because they've DM'd you. So make sure that you're engaging and getting that back and forth. Participate in online communities where you can offer unique and valuable perspective. Every area has different communities. around here, they're called like Everything Palatine, Everything Buffalo Grove. We have a Palatine Moms group. You want to be involved in all of those and give information if you have it in those groups. A lot of those groups ask for realtors. Anybody know a great buyer's agent, whatever that, in that area? Then all of a sudden there'll be 300 people that'll fill that in. Don't be one of those 300 people. DM that person separately, introduce yourself, and offer your services. But also look through some of those comments, because sometimes people will put in there, me too, I was looking too, great question. So you want to DM that person who also said they were looking and say, hey, I saw you commented, you also were looking for a realtor, and reach out to them. I have actually had success that way doing that. I have helped a couple people DMing separately from online and communities just like this. So don't think it doesn't happen. It definitely does. And don't think because they said the same name 10 times that that person is going to reach out to reach out. Most of the time when they give all the names, the person who asked does not reach out to the people in the comments. They connect with the person that reached out to them directly because it's easier. They didn't have to do anything. They think, oh, well, I was going to call Jenny, but Heather texted me or Heather DM'd me, so I'm going to talk to her. Save them that effort. All right. Be authentic. Don't try to be a jack of all trades. You can't know everything. Embrace video, even if you don't love to be on it. I don't love to be on it, but I do embrace it. Use analytics, like I mentioned, to optimize your posts. Which posts are doing well, which ones aren't, which reels are getting the most likes, which ones aren't getting a lot of views. Maybe I'm not going to go down that road with that anymore. Maybe I was going to kind of do a buyer series. I'm not getting a lot of engagement. I'm going to switch that over, and definitely ask for help. If your market center has somebody who does social media, maybe your tech trainer does it, ask for help, ask for ideas, ask for suggestions of other social media posts, and steal them from your fellow realtors. We all love to do that. If you see something that you think is funny or really cool from one realtor, just copy it and make it your own, and have that for yourself. All right. Any questions about any of that before I take it over to show you how to do some of this stuff? All right. Real quick, the lead conversion process. I'll mention this before I go over. What we're talking about here is capturing, connecting, cultivating, and then closing. Sorry, let me put that. And taking everybody through. You're going to see this in some of the other sessions. So I'm going to quickly kind of buzz through it. But first, you want to capture the lead. That is defined as collecting the minimum amount of valid contact information from a potential buyer and seller. So phone number, email, address, if you can get it. If not, neighborhood, so you can start a monthly neighborhood nurture in your smart plan. Conversion framework. If I were to need to contact you, where would that be? If I found exactly what you were looking for, how would you like me to contact you? If I found out that information you wanted, how would I get that to you? All different ways of asking people for their phone number or their email address, some way of contacting them. Embed your value proposition. You should have done that in the second section of Ignite, is create your value proposition in the conversation. Why should I pick you to work with? What is it that you're going to do for me that another realtor isn't? What value are you going to have? Definitely role play and practice your conversations. Know the outcome of what you want before the conversation starts. Typically, the outcome is you want an appointment, or you want to connect with that person again. If you want to show a buyer a house, you want to get a listing appointment, you want to do a buyer consultation. Have it in your mind about what it is that you are trying to go for. These are a couple of the 6 connection questions to always keep in mind if you're not quite sure how to start a conversation. I like to think of them as the W's and the how. And this works if you've ever worked retail or any other type of sales position. This is always going to be the same framework. If you walk into a store, what brings you in today? Who are you shopping for? Where are you going? All the same ones. Same way as you're working an open house. What brings you in today? Why would you like to move into the area? When are you thinking you might need to move? Whatever it might be. How do you plan on selling your house and then getting out here? Whatever that might be. So when you're at a loss for what to ask, think about the W's and the H. Okay. The last one is cultivate. You can't know or predict when they will come to a decision, but if you're reconnecting with them in a systematic way, you'll have a great chance of being there when they do. That's when you'll be able to close for an appointment. So one of my favorite ways to kind of think about it is if you meet a lead and you talk with them, like imagine that somebody walks into a store and you're the one that greets them up at the front and you say, hey, welcome. Thanks so much for coming in. Let me know if you have any questions. Okay. And they walk through the whole store. They pick out some things. They get back to the fitting room. That person's talking with them and helping them, and you never go back and you never reconnect with them. You never talk to them again. And then when they get to the register and they say, who helped you today? They don't say Heather. They say, oh, well, Steve in the fitting room did. And you're like, what? I totally talked to those people. I had a great conversation with them at the front. Same way. You didn't reconnect and you didn't connect with them in a systematic way. So I can't meet somebody at an open house or show somebody a property one time and then never hear from them again. And then I'm not allowed to be offended if later they're like, well, this other agent kept reaching out and sending us stuff and asking us how we were doing. So we went with that. So reconnecting and staying with that person. That's how you're going to be ready and be the realtor that's in front of them when they're ready to come and make that decision. All right. Finally, when asking for an appointment, which format do you think is most effective? Anybody? Anybody?
In person?
Yeah, in person. You want to get in front of people. You want to be able to, you want to be able to show them who you are, to have that connection, to have that face-to-face. It is a people business, and regardless of all the changes with all the technology and online, it's most people's biggest investment of their life, and they want to have a face-to-face conversation with somebody. They want to have somebody standing right next to them as they're going through it, because it's harder to navigate on your own, and they don't want to make a mistake for $400,000. So they're willing to have that face-to-face conversation with you. All right. To help improve your conversion rate, you're going to work on your time blocking, which I know they've talked about before. Use the system, start the SMART plans, have the conversation, set it up in your command to set up your tasks so that you remind yourself to keep calling or texting that person, keep connecting with your entire database, and prioritize your qualified leads. The more leads you get, the quantity of leads is going to help you whittle them all down into the quality leads. And then those are the ones that you're going to want to spend your time on. That just recaps it. All right. Then it goes into your success systems. So as a reminder, your success systems every day while you're in Ignite, you should be having 10 conversations a day, adding 10 contacts to your command, writing 10 handwritten notes, or I like to say text if you like to text people, doing your 10-5-1 social media, which we just talked about, and enrichment, which is being here with me tonight. So you are working on that. Remember, don't call anybody on the do not call list. Check them out first. You don't want to get fined. And each time that you're getting ready to do your lead generation, remember your mantra. I engage in every conversation in the spirit of contribution, and people are happy to be in relationship with me. All right. Any questions before?
Yeah, how do you know about the do not call list? How do you find out if they're not on there?
So your office might have that connection. I know that they actually have made some changes to the site for the do not call registry. And I want to say that that our market center administrator told me kind of mid-April that there's going to be a different access. But if you have access to, do you have access to Remind in your area?
I'm just new.
Okay.
I'm just trying to figure all this stuff out.
Okay, well, Remind should be one of the things that connects with your MLS. And when you look somebody up, it'll say DNC next to them if not. So that's a way, but definitely reach out
Thank
to your
you.
market center and see which way that they use. But I know that she told me that they're currently changing around a little bit with that do not call list.
All right, thank you.
Sure. Any other questions? Oh, Amy, you raised your hand. Yes.
Yes, I have a question.
Okay.
Okay, so I don't know if you've ever had this happen. I had a client that he flipped a house,
Mhm.
so he wasn't living there.
Okay.
We were getting offers, and of course, that happened so fast. This was last year. Where he didn't want to do the open house. He didn't want me to do an open house. Have you ever
Yeah.
run into that?
Yeah, absolutely. I actually have some clients right now. They're looking to buy before they sell, but they do not want the open house. It was very popular during COVID. People didn't want that. And that's their choice. They don't want strangers going through their house. So, not really much you can do. The only thing I would ask them is, could you take a virtual tour? And you might even do it one of two ways. You might say, can I just go through and do a recording? And then you're talking to the camera and you're walking everybody through. And then anybody who wants to get a tour of the house, you can send them that video. It also is an opportunity to maybe do a Facebook Live or Instagram Live and walk through the house and ask them if they would allow to do that. So you could still promote it as an event, still be doing things towards it, and then being able to do that virtual tour.
Okay, thank you.
Sound good? Okay.
I did manage to get the open house done, but
Okay, great.
in the end, he said, "Well, it's for your benefit
Yeah,
more than mine, so go
Right.
ahead."
right.
So I was thankful I could.
I got the first open house I did solo. The first couple that came through, my first open house, I ended up, it was probably 2.5 years later, selling their house and helping them buy something. And then even right now, they're looking to downsize that house that I helped another, and they're looking to buy and then sell again. My first couple, my first open house. So it's definitely works for sure. All right.
Wow, that's awesome.
All right, cool. Any other questions? And then I'm going to show you some stuff here. All right. So I'm going to do this kind of fast because it's not really about me teaching you how to do it. It's more me showing you how you can use this in a time blocking way. But if you want to pre-do some posts and get ahead of it, and you can plan out in Facebook MetaSuite up to a month of posts. So you can get a lot of things in there that that you can get ready, and then you're not spending every single day working on your social media. So for instance, if I go into my designs here in Command, and I go over to create a design, that's going to open up, and I'm going to go to social because I'm looking for a social media post. That's going to take me to the design studio with all of the different templates. Here's where you can find everything. You, of course, could build them on Canva, but this is already done for me. So why am I reinventing the wheel? Who am I? Might as well take these. You have all of your open house ones. So if you are going to do an open house, grab one of these and you can do that. If you have a listing, you have your coming soon. You have your just listed, just sold. All of those are ready for you. The ones we're focused on right now are these ones that say holiday. And these show all the months of the year and everything that's going on in the month. So we're in the month of March. It shows me all the different things. Shows me St. Patrick's Day, shows me International Women's Day, first day of spring, lots of different ones, and it can go on and on. So let's say I want to do St. Patrick's Day post here. All I have to do is grab it and say use. And it's already done for me, all of the graphics and all of that. The only thing I need to change is the logo because it's just a generic logo. If I go over here to the left-hand side and go into logos, and I go into my assets, here are my office logos. If you don't have them, ask your marketing person in your market center, or maybe it is your market center admin for your logos to put in here and upload them in. And once you have them in your assets, then you always have them there. So all you have to do is highlight the logo, just like that. Make sure it has a little box around it. And then you can go over here and grab it. Now, I don't want to push the plus sign because that's going to add an image. I want to do the recycle looking one because I want to replace it. And maybe I don't love that one because it looks a little blocky. So maybe I pick that one. And that's it. I might just move it up just a scotch. And that's it. Now I have my St. Patrick's Day post. I can add other words on here. I can do other things, but I'm not, for the sake of time, I'm not going to. Then I'm going to go over here to download. It's going to default to a PDF, but what I want is the high quality PNG because I'm going to do a picture and I'm going to download that. And now I am going to go into Facebook. When I go into Facebook, takes me to my homepage, but with Facebook MetaSuite, you have to have a Facebook business page. So if you have not started your Facebook business page, this is not going to work for you yet. I'm going to go into my business page right here, Heather We Know Partners, and you're going to see, because I've set up MetaSuite, you will also have to set it up. That's one of my options here on the left-hand side, Facebook or the Meta Business Suite, business, not personal. Now I can look in here and I have my Facebook and Instagram connected. So I'm going to create a post, go in there, and I have them both highlighted or any public Facebook groups that I have. Now I'm going to add the photo, upload from my desktop. We all just saw it was the St. Patrick's Day one right there. Then I grab that, it drops in. I can leave it just like that. It says it'll be cropped a little. I'm fine with that. It's just going to cut off some of the blue. I can leave it just like that. I can write another little text that'll appear above. Right now, I don't really feel I need to. I think it says it all. And if I go all the way down, it has scheduling options, and that's what I want. So I want to toggle that over. And it gives me the options to schedule for both Facebook and Instagram. So I'm going to schedule it for St. Patrick's Day, but I'm going to make it a little bit earlier. So I'm just going to change those to AM. And then I'm going to hit schedule. And now you're going to see the month out in just a second. There's the ones I've scheduled for that. Now here's my month. And it shows all the ones that I have planning to come up, or where they recommend I should have them, but it'll show any of the past ones. And it'll show right here, here's my scheduled St. Patrick's Day post. So I can go into April. I can do a happy Easter. I can do any of those other ones I want. I can create something on Canva, put it in a PNG and drop it in here too. And then that way, I'm not worried about getting into my Facebook every single day and posting every day and worried about that. I can set it up and I can spend a couple minutes. I would say that probably took me 2 minutes to make that and move it over. Any questions about that? All right. And, oh, somebody had a question. Do I know if there is something that alternates? I don't know what that means.
Like, is there a program like where it'll change the picture each day? Or like you'll get a different image that'll pop up, or do you have to go in and set each image for every day?
Do I have to switch it between the two? Is that what you're asking, from the personal to the business? Going back and forth? Because
No,
this
like,
is,
so
this
like-
is only the business side.
right, and you did that St. Patrick's one, but could you put one that was like every other day an inspirational quote, or something to do with real estate, but it would change automatically, or is it stagnant? What you said is what you said.
Yeah, that's where, if I'm doing these only business and only Instagram, then it would be all real estate. But occasionally, you know, you want to pepper in just the regular holiday greeting. So I might make the next post about, things to help a buyer, or maybe it's a market center stat or something like that, but just kind of pepper through. And they have some of those in there too. You can take, if I'm in here, and I go back to some of those templates, hold on 1 second. I go into the templates, you can see here's neighborhood snapshots. So you could use one of these and just fill in the information, or maybe it's local expert ones. And this is where you can get this data from your market center. So you can create these as well to pepper in. All right. And before we go, I'm going to go into Command again. I logged out because it's faster. And I want to talk about open houses and where you can get a sheet now through your website. So if I go to consumer, everybody has a website through Keller Williams. I'm just going to say edit my website. I can go in here just straight away into Heather We Know Partners. I'm just showing you, if you don't know what your website address is, this is where your website address is. So you click there. Now I'm on my website page. Now I can go anywhere from here. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to grab one of these houses. And when I am here, I'm just going to, sorry, I have all this stuff in my way. If I want to make this an open house page, all I'm going to do is I'm going to go up to the URL and I'm going to type /open house and hit enter. And I'm going to give it a second. Now, this is a capture page for the open house. So it shows all the pictures and people can sign in with their first name, last name, email, phone number, and submit. They do have to hit this little thing to commit and submit. Let me see if it does without filling it. Now I got to do it. Hold on. Okay. Then once they fill it out, I went too fast. Once they fill it out, it gives them a little information about you and a QR code that helps them view the device, or sorry, they can use the QR code on their device. It'll give them all the data about this listing and give them the more information about it. So this is a great way to do a sign in for an open house, as opposed to if you're looking for something else. So you would have to have it on a tablet, something like that, so that you could have people sign in. But it's a great tool, and it's super fast and easy. We used to have to make these landing pages that took forever, but now we don't. So it's nice. Anything else?
I do have another question.
Okay.
On your Facebook, that's your
Before you
business
ask your
page.
question, just before people jump off, sorry. If you're going to jump
Okay.
off, if you guys could help me out, I am training to be a Keller Williams University trainer, and I need to get evaluations. There's a minimum number that I have to get. So I would love it if you scan this QR code and gave me an evaluation. It would really help me out. It only takes 2 minutes when you do it. The only caveats are you just will, when it says instructor, I'm not in the drop down. So you have to go to instructor not in drop down and put my name. And the course is Ignite. There's 7 or 8. We did both of them tonight. And then you just answer a couple 1 to 5 questions. So I really appreciate it if you guys do that. But now go ahead with your question. I wanted to leave that in a second. All right.
No, that's awesome. I've enjoyed tonight.
Thank you.
So I have I have a business account on Instagram and then my personal,
Yep.
but I've combined my Facebook.
Okay.
And the other day one of my admins was encouraging us to do the business page just as you have.
Yep.
But what audience do you appeal to? I mean,
So
is it like,
it's still gonna be the same people. Let me ask you, is your personal page private or is it friends only?
Instagram, I have a personal that's private,
Yeah,
and then I have a business, but on Facebook, it's everybody.
it's everybody. So every single
Yeah.
post you have, you don't have it just be friends.
No.
Okay, so with Instagram, not having that business page, you are the people can't find you, or when they go to search you, they can't see anything about you. So you've already lost them right there. As far as your Facebook, if it is all 100% public, you probably can get away with not having that business page because you made it all public, but typically people have it private. So you need that public facing forward. You need that business page. But people also, when you come up in Google, if I come up, it says Facebook Heather Owino Partners. So it's another search that people can go in there and look and they can find me. So ultimately, I would say you don't have to reinvent the wheel. Go ahead and just make the business page. And when you post something business on your personal, just share it to your business, set it, forget it. It takes 2 seconds. And then at least you're having that scrollability on your business page.
Okay. Okay.
Yep, cool.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, Rosemary. Oh, you're on mute. You're on mute. You look like a cute talker, but I can't hear you.
Sorry, Heather.
No problem.
Earlier you mentioned something about this splitting the lead with agent you bring along. How does that process work?
Well, so if you want to go with somebody else from your market center, for instance, you might just do every other, I'll take the first one, you get the second one, and just take turns if you're both looking for leads. If you are going to just shadow another agent, ultimately, then all the leads are going to be their leads because you're just watching how they do the open house. But otherwise, it'd just be an every other one that you would do. Or maybe it's a particularly busy open house, then that's going to keep you guys busy enough. That's kind of the way that you would split them up.
Okay, so it has nothing to do with if I land the buyer. No.
I mean, of course, is that person going to be like a little upset if you're like, yeah, I got a buyer from that open house? Well, yeah, but if you're taking turns, they had just as much of a chance to meet somebody as you did. It's just going to, I think of it kind of like when you go to a furniture store. Whoever walks up next, that's your person. Then the next person is that next salesperson, and so on and so forth. So it's just kind of luck of the draw.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. All right, guys. Any last questions before I sign off for tonight? All right. Well, I hope you've enjoyed it. Please do the eval. That'll really help me out. I have to get 75 in a year. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. So I gotta get them, but I have loved teaching you guys tonight. Here's also my number and my email address. If you have other questions, feel free to contact me and ask me, or if there's anything else that you want to see or that you didn't feel comfortable asking in this, totally reach out. I'm happy to do so. Thanks, guys, and have a
Thank
good
you,
night.
Heather.
Thanks.
You too. Good night.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Good night.
Thanks.